What's up, everybody? My name is Timmy D, and that is
Engineer Evan.
And you are tuned into another episode of Railroads Rock Show. And on top of that, today we are going to go back in time, but stay ever present, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
It's like a throwback. It's like new meets old. Future meeting the past.
Yes.
Future.
Yes.
Well, as they always say, past is prologue. And so today we're going to be virtual rail fanning Symphony of Steam.
Yes.
But before we get to that, let's talk about what we got in front of us.
Yeah, so we don't ever really do steam air stuff. And, well, today I brought one of my little babies.
I love this unit.
Yes, I got this steam engine when I was 16. It's just for those curious, it's a Sunset 282. I set it up to be a like a local steam engine, so it's got the smaller tender. It doesn't have the big Santa Fe on the side, so I mean you could run it as a helper, but I don't.
Number
I don't
3220.
Like it. Number 3220.
For those inquiring,
Yeah.
This is a great looking unit, though.
Yes.
I even love how it has the bell string right here.
Oh yeah. We got a couple of cool.
Who makes this?
This is a Sunset.
Sunset.
Yeah, so it's like entry level brass. It's detailed. It's not over the top. Not too expensive. When I spent $400.
Is that your phone chiming?
Yeah.
Are you getting blown up? My man.
Blowing up my phone.
Gotta talk to your pimp.
Yeah.
All right.
Pimp Sue. Yeah. So when I bought this in 2006 for $400, that was a huge investment. It wasn't painted, so I did the painting, the DCC, which now needs to be upgraded, which is why I'm bringing it home. We're doing ESU, scale sound speakers, the whole 9 yards, keep alives.
Yeah, that's gonna be rad.
But this is my little baby, because when you start thinking about, I always explain this to my brother, it's childhood heirlooms, right? So you have this huge train collection, and I see little pieces throughout my life. And this one is very reminiscent of 2006, 2007. Like, I was all in, all the money, all the interest. And so now, as an adult with a little more money, I kind of want to, kick it up a notch, bring it up to the 21st century. And I'm just kind of jazzed about it. And so I'm bringing her back, man, with sound. She's never had sound. She's never had LED headlights. It's always been incandescent. We got to deal with all those problems. But very excited.
Do you know the history on this unit, like on the actual prototype?
Well, I mean, it's for Santa Fe. They had the 282 class, so the 3100 and the 3200 class are very functional small locomotives. So you could do branch line running, you could do helper service, you could do it on the main line, you could do all sorts of things.
Where would you see something like this in SoCal?
One of my favorite pictures, and I'm going to send it to you so you can show it for this exact episode, is a 3200 class pulling a big freight up Cajon with a very beautiful, right at Martinez, if we're being specific. They're just like very durable,
very versatile units.
Yeah. So it's not too big, it's not too small, not too heavy, not too light. It's kind of like that, right? It's like an SD40-2.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
The equivalent.
And so now I did a sister unit, the 3223, that has the bigger tender, the 23,000 gallon tender.
Yeah, the
for
longer
helper
range.
service.
Yeah.
It's got the big Santa Fe on the side. I wanted them to be very different. Didn't want them to be the same, because I didn't want them to be like mixed up in the same kind of thing. Like,
if you ran this on the La Mesa Club layout, this specifically, would this be something that you would see, which is just kind of a mixed freight or a reefer, or what would we throw behind it? I'd say 15 cars?
Yes. So if we're going to Arvin, right?
Yeah.
And we're doing the reefers block, it could do like a 15, 20 car reefer train. If we're doing helper service, it's going to be a little more restricted, like 8 to 10 cars, general merchandise. I think the first assignment I'd ever ran at a steam op session, it was the head helper of a passenger train, which I wasn't really super jazzed about.
You're
I feel like that's for a 3800 class, like a 210-2 or something bigger. But nevertheless, she's pretty. And at La Mesa, this type of locomotive, a small, I don't want to say as a prairie type because I don't think it is, but
I would actually picture this if you were in the Midwest. I would say this is like a Wichita to Chicago run,
right,
of some sort of manifest freight, like a mixed freight. not a lot of ups and doesn't have any hills to traverse, so you could definitely lay out a nice long freight behind it too, which is one of those things that seeing something like a 282 where it is that equivalent of like an SD40-2, how many times I've been out in the Midwest on tour and you see like two SD40-2s or even one SD40-2 and they're not running a local, they're actually running out of like what would you call that? Like they're pulling off of an industrial, like a bunch of cars that came out of an industrial park, and then they're running 40 miles or whatever to the actual main.
To me, that feels like a road switcher.
Yeah.
So the road switcher is we grab a cut of cars, we go out and do a bunch of work, we're coming back. Like there's when the road aspect of this, there's a long distance of time spent going to the location. Whereas like if it's a true local is coming out of the yard working. Local industries, things, doing all sorts of cool stuff.
I'd say that you would see this like doing the Long Beach run.
Yeah.
Like coming out of Commerce and then heading down to Long Beach, getting its cut. Because even Long Beach Terminal didn't really become what it, like even some sort of resemblance of what it is today until the 50s, right? Mm-hmm. Like you still had Manhattan Beach had a terminus, right? And then even then didn't... I guess it was just Manhattan Beach. I want to say Santa Monica had there was something out there. Maybe it was Redondo. I don't know.
It was all over the place.
Oh, Redondo Harbor. Yeah. Redondo Harbor had they had port terminus there. So, yeah, man, I really like this unit. And I really think that it's a great purchase. And if anybody's trying to look to get into brass or look to get into locos, start with something that it's manageable. You see all these people buying.
And this is why I say Sunset is affordable brass, and it runs really well, and it helps you kind of get in. Like if you're getting into Key or Hallmark or some of these other ones, you're gonna be spending a lot of money right out of the gate, and it's not gonna do anything for you. It's just to acquire the engine.
It's like those guys that like come out of the gate screaming with even not brass, but like say buying a big boy from like the Genesis big boy. Or is it Genesis has the big boys?
Genesis does, Tricks, Broadway. There's a bunch that have it. Yeah.
But I mean, like they come out of the gate screaming, and they've got this articulated, massive. I mean, if you've ever even an HO scale big boy, even an N scale big boy. Who does the N scale big boy? Somebody does an N scale big boy. But all I'm saying is you come screaming out of the gate with something that big. It's like. You'll have drivetrain issue problems. Like something like this is very manageable. You're dealing with that single gear drivetrain that goes into the. I mean, even the gearing on these things, you're like, it's enough to make you go crazy if you don't know what you're doing.
Yes.
But that's my 2 cents. And what am I saying?
And I mean, I only own 4 steam engines.
I don't own any anymore.
Two work, and then 2 of them are in pieces.
The only thing I had was I used to have a Bachmann GS4. Was it a Spectrum? I don't even know. And that thing ran fine. I liked it. Everybody used to kind of crap on it, but I was like, it was a great looking unit. And then I had I'm trying to even think. It was an 030 or 060 switcher. Sorry, not 030. 060 switcher. And I can't remember who made it, but it had been re-motorized, so it ran so smooth. Right. This is DC era.
Yes.
And I really missed that unit. It was just like a crappy 060. I want to say it was lettered for ATSF, but I don't think that. Yeah. Like all those I miss those yard switchers, the old steam yard switchers. I always thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
Like even an 040.
And I think one thing
tiny little dockside switchers.
Yeah.
Or the 040 with a tender. Cool.
One thing that La Mesa's never done is ever have an all steam op session. They've never done it. All the years I've been down there, the steam diesel.
Fabio, as you call him, or Yoshi as my nickname. He actually, I haven't seen him recently, but we were talking about that, doing like a 19 early 40s, late 30s, all steam op session. Yeah. I think he was even saying like 30s, like strictly steam, no diesel.
Yeah,
that'd be rad.
It would be difficult because what you would need would be a lot of the smaller engines, and everybody's into big engines.
Yeah.
So everyone's
You know,
like, I want a
AC-12s,
cab.
I want a cab
cab
forward.
I want a mountain. I want, a decapod. I want all these things. They don't want to get this is a pretty big, small locomotive, okay? Granted, it's got the smaller tender, fine. But you start getting smaller than this. Like,
knuckle to knuckle, bigger than an SD70 Ace. So that's a pretty big effing engine, dude. Put an Ace right there. I bet you the Ace would. I bet you the Ace would be shorter. 40 goes from here to there.
You're right. But the business area of this locomotive is right here.
This I know, but I mean, we're still like, you don't run this without this.
Like
so
a cab forward, the front half of a cab forward is almost the length of this locomotive alone. Or a big boy is just.
Oh, big boys are massive.
The boiler is almost as long as the locomotive itself.
Stem to stern, what's a big boy? 120 feet?
Oh, gotta be.
Something
like that.
Because the Centennial unit that I have right there, that's 100, I think.
Yeah.
Right? 96 or something?
The big boy broken
it's a foot
down.
long.
The big boy broken down to basics is legitimately 2 of these locomotives, 2 282s. Just imagine them plugged together.
Yeah.
And so, we'll get on a slight diet.
Actually, if you think about it, that is the exact wheel count. If you double
exactly
this
what
unit, that's a big boy because you'd have 4 in the front with 8, and then another 4.
Did you see the Jay Leno UP Big Boy?
No, I didn't get to watch that.
You should watch it.
I am going to.
And
it's on my list. I'm going to check that out.
What's cool about that is like Jay Leno is actually engaged in what he like.
He has a couple steam engines in his workshop.
Yeah.
Like working, like he has one from an old textile factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
And he's all into cars, but he's also into that kind of obscure stuff. He was
machinery.
He
loves mechanical.
They were talking about like during the war they developed a steam-powered airplane.
Yes.
Because it was completely quiet except for the propeller would hear the whoosh, 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 whoosh.
You would
That's
just hear the
only
whirring
thing you would hear.
Yeah.
And they were trying to find a way to be able to get into these occupied areas without being heard.
Yeah. Just like pretty much pre-stealth.
Yes.
But being stealth.
Right. And they can only do that with a steam-powered engine.
Mm-hmm.
And that blew my mind. I was like, wow, that's insane.
There are certain things that just, like, when you watch Jay Leno's Garage, and I'm a fan of him, I've told you this story a million times, where I used to live in Burbank was right off of Hollywood Way, and I was off of Pass Avenue, and his studio, when I'd go for my run in the morning, I'd run right by the entrance to where he would go in at the studio. And then in the afternoon, sometimes if I didn't have a long day at work or if I wasn't working that day, and it was during the week, I'd do an afternoon run as well. And there was times where I saw him driving into the lot, or that there was an Italian pizza joint right over by now it's a Smart and Final or something with a Starbucks across the street. But there's an Italian pizza joint, and he loved that spot. And he was always stopping by it. And it actually, sorry, not Italian, Chicago-style pizza. And you could look it up. It's right there, right at, it's not Burbank Boulevard, but whatever the cross street was, Riverside Drive. Or it becomes Riverside Drive. I think it's whatever. But yeah, I would see Jay Leno all the time. Like it was like a normal thing to see him at least once a month. I would be like, oh, he's there.
He's
I saw
always in a
different
classic
car.
Always
Different
in a
car
classic
every time. He was never driving the same car. I remember the first time he rolled up with this red Stanley Steamer, and I was on my run, and I would always do different routes through the valley.
And people are thinking it's a carpet. No, that's a real thing.
Yeah. Dude, they're so like some of those vehicles would have like a cat gut like radiator rod on it or something like that, like stuff made out of leather that spun the cooling fan. So nuts. Whatever. But yeah, good looking unit, man. And today, what we are virtual rail fanning to get to our subject is Santa Fe Symphony of Steam. So if you're watching this, it's nickel plated production, and here we go. Look at those Jeep 60Ms, man.
Oh yeah,
pulling that Z train, old JB Hunts. And here we go.
That's a prairie right there. That's a prairie. Yeah.
Look at the old
262. Yeah.
Was that a 6?
Look at the 18.
It looked like
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a little tiny thing.
Look at that.
There's the Cyrus K. No, is that Cyrus K. Holiday?
Maybe.
I'm gonna get grilled by my own Santa Fe.
Who cares?
Carved out of the old Santa Fe.
Look at this. I love how they give the history, the update.
It was Cyrus K. Holiday.
Cyrus K. Holiday. Okay,
There we
that
go.
wasn't crazy.
The entrepreneur who
Look at
persevered
that.
to make the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railway a reality.
Just to give it the thoroughfare.
A charter was drafted in 1859, and in 1868, the first shovels of Topeka soil, signaling the start of construction, were tossed. horsepower became steam power.
I'm gonna turn up the volume
No
on this one
invention
just
has
so people
played a
can hear
greater
this.
role in the
I love the
advancement of our
history.
nation as the development of the steam locomotive.
Not one dude in that crowd without a hat on.
So what's crazy, I had a,
Look at 3911.
Oh. 3,000
I had
steam
a,
engines.
so I was running on,
When the diesels
like a couple
began
weeks ago,
replacing steam power in the
and-
1990s,
Wait. Let
it
him
marked an end of
Let him
an
chop it
era.
up. Never mind.
In
Continue.
1937,
so I had somebody from the a guest in the audience, if you would call it, walking around the museum. You ask a question about my train. I gave her the throttle. She's running it. She asked me, she's all, could you tell me one really random but cool fact about trains that I could just tell to other people? She's like, do you know anything like that? I'm like, yeah, I think I got one thing. I'm like, trains are responsible for time zones. Because before the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, you could not tell someone you could be there from at this exact point.
Yeah.
Because prior to that point, there was nothing predictable. Like
Yeah.
a horse could go for 40 miles an hour for 10 minutes, and it's got to slow down to whatever. A train could go for 25 miles an hour for all day.
Yeah.
So that because they could start,
They
start
could
using
traverse
time,
a time zone.
right. So they had to start creating time zones because as they were going further and further and further,
Yeah.
this shit.
How does your mind know what to, like,
Yeah.
the clock in this town would be different from a clock in this town just because
Yeah.
of how it was set to the sun.
Exactly.
And so all of a sudden you get
Superfluid
time zones.
power
That
and
is a
steam
wonderful
of
fact. I'm actually going to start
during
utilizing
courses
that
in the
again
summer of
because
1992,
I remember when I
in a
first discovered
special
that. Look at that.
employee
So
recognition
beautiful.
training.
She asked me for one more. I said, I got another one for you. I said, the history behind the two longs, a short and a long, the grade crossing sequence that all American trains used for approaching and passing railroad crossing of the grade. That was the whistle signal that the English would give to tell people who were standing nearby that the Queen was coming.
Two longs, a short, and a long?
Da, 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 da. Here comes the Queen. Da, da, da. Crazy. Now, how ridiculous is now in American railroading? We don't even think about that. Like, we don't have any, like, the English aspects of railroading, which were developed before American railroading was, okay? We don't use any of them, but we still use that. It's crazy.
Well, I mean,
This is not a story
isn't
about her
My
10
Country
years
'Tis of Thee
restoration or the glory days of
British
past, but of
national
the men
anthem?
who ran with her
Bum,
from
bum,
LA to
bum,
Chicago.
bum,
I don't
bum,
know.
bum.
I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody hit me up on that.
This
But
is
I'm always
My
like-
Country 'Tis of Thee
I'm
is
always-
Oh, Canada.
oh, Canada, eh? Yeah, you're gonna
so I
do that
used to sing
Canadian thing,
I
eh?
used to sing that to a couple of guys in Oakland.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah,
All right, let's get to this.
Yes.
Where are we at here?
So,
Boom. Let's go.
yeah. Watch a little 3751 action.
Is it a two? Is it a 410-2 or is it a 410-4?
It's a 484.
484. Wait. Okay. Yeah. No. Sorry.
So the 3751 is the oldest of the 484 class, but because it was built in 1927.
Does that still operate?
Oh yeah, there. I just saw it a couple weeks
Is
ago.
this? I think this is this is what I was saying earlier. I think this is the one. On July 4th, they were having railroad days, and
Yeah.
I was standing on
Oh, I'm sure it was.
the platform
Oh,
with
yeah.
Penny.
This is
and
my favorite Santa Fe engine and my favorite steam engine.
That, I don't
Everything
think
about
July
this
4th.
engine is just beautiful. It's the pinnacle of Santa Fe steam technology. So like I said, this might be the oldest one ever built for Santa Fe, but there's nothing 1927 about this locomotive. It was completely overhauled in the early 1940s. 80-inch drivers.
Yeah.
You can go 100
Well,
miles
that
an
was
hour.
World War II overhaul, right?
Oh yeah.
Just for upgrading,
Yes.
upgrading on the new flat cars,
Oh, yeah.
upgrading for the for hauling tanks, right? There was something about where it was like because they had to haul, like because of all the armor that they were hauling, just nothing but pure metal and
Yeah.
I mean, just all the cargo was just heavier during the war. Everything that needed to be moved was just heavier. It wasn't grain goods anymore.
Yep.
And sacks of flour and citrus.
People.
We gotta move people. No, like now we're moving bullets, bombs, and freaking tanks,
Yeah.
and all the steel to build all the Liberty ships. Kaiser Steel,
Such a beautiful engine, man.
which is where we get Kaiser Medical Group or whatever.
Right?
Kaiser, yeah, those hospitals stuck around for but I guess it was originally created out there off the 91 freeway. That's where Kaiser Steel was.
Yeah.
And they would produce that and then they haul it out to the shore to make the Liberty ships.
Mm-hmm.
Man, history's fucking cool.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Look at that. I love that they have it behind Dash 8Cs. Like,
Oh, yeah.
This is, what, 92, right?
This is 92.
So, yeah, all you'd have is the Jeep 60Ms. When did the Jeep 60Bs come out? Was it 92?
No, it was
they
like
were
90.
I thought they were like a year behind the Jeep 60Ms. Like they had done the M's and then Santa Fe did a special order of the B units.
Assistant
Could be
Vice
wrong,
President
but
Transportation, Homer Henry.
Pretty much on point most of the time.
Supervisor.
Homer Henry.
We had 8 retired Santa Fe engineers that operated
He
this
looks like
train
a
over the
Homer
last
Henry.
17 or 18
That
days.
name fits him.
They had a tremendous amount of fun.
Oh, man.
It's
Thank
much like
God my
riding a
hair's not
bicycle,
done.
apparently. It came right back to them.
And we'll get there.
They
No,
had
no.
a great time. As soon as we would stop,
I know plenty of my
these old
friends
engineers
that-
get off
that
and
my
start
age are
shaking
losing
hands with
their
the
hair.
kids and handing out
We'll
buttons
talk
and
to
stuff.
Zeke.
And they were
Zeke,
asking for
yeah.
autographs and just to
Zeke
shake
Sarah's
hands
starting
with
to
a
look
real
like Zeb.
engineer because they look the part. This train looks like a railroad train.
Hey,
And,
don't make fun of those follicularly challenged fellas. God, look at that kid. He had a Santa Fe hat on with the Santa Fe cross, and I almost was looking for the Burlington Northern around the outside.
Yep.
Because you're just so
This
used
is
to
all
seeing
way before that.
pre that
These guys-
merger.
These guys threw, 12,000 horsepower on the front. Like, whatever.
Bro, that's so rad. Oh, strictly aesthetics.
Of course.
You don't
But you
need-
know what's number? They're numbered
3D.
840.
Look at how clean those units
842,
are.
And 844.
Is that the numbers?
840, 842, and 844.
So even
Jack
numbers.
Elwood is a retired Santa Fe engineer.
This guy looks
in
like I used to
low-form
eat
adventures.
nails back in
He spent
back in
41 years.
Back in
Iwo-
my day,
back in
I
Iwo
used-
Jima, and then when I ran over to Tehachapi, we were still eating nails.
Back in my day, we used to go up to ladies and ask them if they liked the smell of the garlic that I wore around my belt.
Yeah.
Then we'd offer them a nice bouquet of juniper flowers.
Yeah. Would you like to sit on my lap while I'm pulling this throttle?
Yeah.
We'll blow your ears out, but whatever.
June of 1943.
That's when I went to. That's when they shipped me off to.
That's when I knew I was sitting on that Liberty ship heading out to Midway, and I knew
Yeah.
once I saw those P-51s going overhead,
People are gonna die.
people are gonna die. I remember the first time I saw the Enola Gay, I thought it was cool.
This is going to revive all long ago memories. Well, I think it's just the feel of
Bro.
feeling this enormous piece of machinery.
One of my best friends got assigned to a bomber group. He flew on the Betty Boop.
The Betty Boop.
A
lot of dead people.
Betty Boop, giving those people the boop.
Look
at him.
Or the bang.
He's so look at how our like the way he was speaking. He's like articulating every single word. There I was driving the
Yeah.
train.
So what's cool about this video and then the 91 excursion is how many old Santa Fe steam engineers who were still working for Santa Fe at that point.
92 wasn't. It's not that far away
No.
from 42.
Yeah, they said, "Hey man, we're running this engine. Can you guys come on through?" So you watch how these guys
were like in
old
their
heads are
20s
running it
when they were running
and
it,
you listen
and
how they blow the whistle, how they run it. They're like old school. Like there's no foamer engineers running this engine. This is like
Yeah, this
war
is.
torn. Like ran these engines for 10, 15 years.
I told Charlie, "Why are you shoveling onions into the box?" And he was just like, "Onions make it smell nice. Onions and charcoal." Of course, that was before we went to oil. It's just like the way these guys talk about this, because look at that.
How much atomizer she used, how far down you dropped her, how hard she was on water, how well she steamed, how poor
See, they
she
always
Bro,
talk. They always
they
talk
talk about
steam
like it's a
engines
lady.
Like it's a lady.
Yeah, how well she moves, how awesome she is. There I was. I used to walk out to my train engine every day with a bouquet of carnipias.
Yeah.
I don't even know what they were.
Let me tell you about a real tool I had to run with one time in the middle of the night.
I remember one time they initiated us by making us the cornhole in the engine. What?
Yeah. I was short on rest and high
Must
on
have been-
life.
Yeah, I must have been awake for 48 hours. We had to get those tanks over the hill, otherwise the Kaiser would have fucking moved in on us.
I can tell you that now that I'm retired. And
Yeah.
Exactly. See what I'm saying?
We're gonna have
There ain't no
this
joke
engine.
there.
I think they
This
got
guy,
a
this is for real shit.
maximum on her for 70.
Yeah. They're like, this track speed was 70, but we did 100 all day long.
She used to make us atomize her a little bit earlier, otherwise she wouldn't wake up.
Yeah.
Of course, I am talking about the train engine, not the ladies that frequented the Harvey house.
Yes. They never had a day off, 7 days a week.
Oh, those things would just pull on the chode forever. Of course, I'm talking about the ladies at the Harvey house,
Yes.
not the train
They
engine.
could ring a bell better than most firemen could.
I tell you what, you could tell the style of a lady's Wurlitzer by the chime in her bosom.
All of these things remind you of grandmother's kitchen stove. Nice, warm, comfortable place.
All right.
You're welcome.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, let's just fill this. This is just gray space right here. These Dash 840s remind me of an old lady that I used to visit in Gallup, New Mexico, wife of a shaman. She didn't wear as big of a headdress. These war bonnet units looked a lot sexier back then.
But one you'd hope would just stay there.
I'd always leave them wanting more. And they'd leave me wanting more, because I always wanted more peyote in my pipe.
After 39 years with the Santa Fe Railroad,
Look at this guy.
his childhood dream was to work for the
You
railroad.
got this guy, this dude.
Running
He said
37
Rufus King.
The guy
That
who's
is an
had two
engineer
tires.
name.
Yes, it
Well,
is.
it's a fulfillment of a dream.
Oh my God, this is just too great.
I never dreamed
See,
that
there's
I
like
would be
almost
able to come
like
back
people
and
hear
run
me
the
like
thing again
impersonating
ever in
these
my
guys, and
lifetime,
it's
you know,
like
with-
actually that
with
sounds
the-
about
the
right.
diesels and
Rufus
everything,
King is like
steam
such a
engines were in the
arcade. We
park.
called him Rufus King.
Yeah. He never participated in the peyote game. But,
Yeah,
you
but
know.
he used to set his watch to how fast he could finish on a lady at the Harvey house.
Yeah.
And I don't mean upstairs. I mean down in the kitchen. The guy would never take the stairs. He didn't believe in stairs. He just believed in coming out the train and then, yeah.
Doing exactly what I wanted to in life.
Look at those
And I
three.
had
Those
got
Dash
this
8s are
M
beautiful,
come
man.
back and run
I mean,
this
fresh off the
37.1,
factory floor.
And this engine is one of the best ones I have ever run.
The best one he ever run.
This chick is one of the best ones I've ever run a train on.
Look at those glasses, man.
Oh, man.
There's like
It-
double paned windows.
It
on
almost
his
looked
face.
like he cut the bottom out of a Coke bottle from 1945. It just was like, yeah, well, my doctor said I needed a better prescription, so I used these Coke bottles. Of course, we all know that Dr. Pepper bottles are better, but more expensive. I didn't feel like paying an extra nickel. We always know it's 2 dimes and a nickel for a good case of 6-pack of Dr. Pepper, and I wasn't going to pay that.
Yeah. Now it's like $18 for a Big Mac.
Who even
I would
eats
never
a,
fit into
who
this era.
eats a Big Mac? This is 92, man.
Yeah.
Big Macs were still Big Mac was still
Like
a buck
25
$1.50.
Yeah, like 25 cents back.
No, it wasn't 25 cents back then. It's like a buck $1.50. Look at that. God, Dash 8s.
I wish they did. Here we go. Let the toll train go by, please. Thank you.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, come on.
Ah,
Bill
this
Setzer
guy's
is
name?
a general supervisor of train
Setzer?
handling for Santa Fe.
See, this
working
looks
at
like the
Fort Madison,
foamer who
Iowa.
like nobody wants to
As
work
one
with.
of the supervising crew
Hang
members,
on, hang on.
he rode the
Hey, guys, I'm Bill
3751
Setzer.
at driving range
yeah. See, I
speed
got my
in September 10th.
overall. Oh my God.
Hard.
See?
My
With
voice
low
was dead on.
barometric pressure, the steam and the smoke was coming down
It's gonna get my
one side of the cab.
Yeah,
we couldn't even
I
see
started
the
having to wear
signals.
goggles.
Yeah.
So John and I were having to hang out
The
the
original
side
guy
of the
started.
rainstorm
The original guy started
and,
safety glasses. I was in the
try to
founding
catch a
class.
milepost and the signals.
I was
so
one
we
that
knew
made
where our
it
speed
mandatory.
restrictions and locations were at.
See, I've never actually grown
And,
facial hair, but it kind of looks
we
like
were
I got a 5
commenting
o'clock
about
shadow all day
these-
long.
What these guys had to put up with on these
I actually
steam
put this
engines.
on in the morning at the hotel room
It's
just
pretty-
to make it
pretty
look
good
like I'm
experience.
able to grow a beard.
I'm the one who takes all the extra food from the
I got
continental
the-
breakfast when it's not allowed to be taken.
I have 5 sausage patties in my front pocket on my overalls.
Yes.
Just in case I need an extra snack.
Yes. I've worked with guys who do that shit. Seriously.
I know.
Like, well, it's free. Why can't we have it?
Oh, dude. Thomas Fay was he was playing bass in my band on one of these tours. We're back in Florida and we're staying at a motel. No, it wasn't. It was a Hampton Inn. And they have the Hampton, and they have the nice continental breakfast, and there he is, freaking
Jess Bootman.
He's got a freaking plate just loaded with food that he takes back up to the room, and it even says, "Do not take food back up to the room." And I'm like, ugh. Yeah, see? There I was, Jess Bootman. That's my name.
Jess Bootman and Wyatt Earp crossed the Colorado in 1900.
I actually saved a piece of leather that I took off a hooker's hide. What? Oh, yeah. Well, back in the day, a hooker was somebody who made fish hooks.
Yes.
Yeah, he was a steelman, a blacksmith, as you would say.
I predate all these progressive progressive names.
Anyways, we were waxing down some cat gut as we were trying to sew this hide together, and there I go. We almost look at this guy. That's ballsy. You're sure there's not another train coming down? That's double track. That's not a sighting.
Yeah. Ooh,
San Bernardino Station.
Nice.
I remember when they first put the penis heads on the top of San Bernardino Station. Those mushroom tops, everybody was laughing. Who designed this thing? See, this is why this episode isn't for kids.
Yes.
Parents, if you're letting your kids watch this shit, don't.
Don't. I still feel bad for the 2102 kid I had join.
What was he, like 12 years old,
He's like
13 years old?
He's like, oh, you
Hey,
have a
man, that was a
podcast?
year ago.
You're
He's
probably still
14 now.
watching. Yeah,
He probably's got his first pubes.
Yeah.
He probably's getting it. We are so in trouble for this one.
We're getting flagged. I can feel it.
Good. If you're tuning, hey, thank
we-
you so much for tuning into
Yeah.
Railroads Rock Show. But I'm telling you right now, this is not your regular railroading podcast YouTube channel. This is Timmy D and engineer motherfucking Evan.
Yes.
Look at this guy to the right, dude. That guy was the cool dude. Listen to him.
Brought back so many memories. That,
We got the same last name. Look at him.
We've forgotten these locomotives, what they
How old were you in
what they
1992?
were to
10.
do and
Or
have
9.
done
I was
in
9
the
years old.
past.
9?
9 years old. Because I was born at the end of the year. I was my birthday's the day after
Wonderful
Christmas.
thing.
So-
we should have more of these machines in the
Pretty much
country.
the whole year disappeared. I like on my birth certificate it says the number 82, but it might as well have been 83 because I was alive for 7 days, and then it was the new year. But 82 is my lucky number. Look at that thing smash. Yeah, that dude from that last shot, that guy's got to be like
I don't think there's a better way to display our heritage.
What's
and the
that guy's
commitment of
name?
our employees to this
Cock
company
Doffman?
Than utilizing
Max
a fine
Boot.
example.
No,
of the
something
historical
Homer.
past of this
Henry
company.
Homer?
Henry Homer,
Coupled directly to a very
Homer
modern
Simpson.
diesel locomotive, coupled to
I
the
love his
highlight of
glasses,
the
dude.
era
This
of
is
the
so
railroads,
like
the 50s,
he looks
and
like
40s
the
with this equipment.
he looks like the governor in
And,
the
brings us
Grinch
to,
movie with Jim
the
Carrey.
focal point with
Right, or
our
the mayor.
employees who've never ridden
Doesn't he
on a
look like the
train,
mayor from
our
the
families
Jim
who've never
Carrey
ridden on a
Grinch movie?
And
He's still alive.
A new
come
car.
together in a moving piece of
Like
nostalgia.
30-something years ago. 32 years ago.
I bet you that guy's still alive. He won't quit. That guy's sitting in an old folks' home, freaking hammering any ass he can. Come here, lady.
He's like, I rail X-Lax.
Bro, if you did-
Viagra.
My wife and I go back to Florida before her Gammy died, Grammy or whatever, and Grampy was in the hospital or something. She was telling us stories. She's like, "Well, any guy around here who could get it up is worth their salt. It's mostly women now. All the guys died." Oh my God! You know where that term comes from? They used to pay Roman soldiers in salt because that's how valuable it was. Could
Oh, yeah.
preserve
Yeah.
meat. You could trade with
Yeah.
it. It was a form.
They used to trade gold for salt.
Yeah, isn't that nuts?
Yeah, yeah.
That's where the term "any man worth his weight in salt" or "worth his salt." I don't know how much of this video we've watched and actually watched. Because we're just talking about the old timers. I love it. I'd have it no other way. Anyways, we're going to cut it in a few minutes, but thank you so much for tuning into the Railroads Rock Show. We're going to enjoy some of this flyby stuff. Does he have class lights on, Evan?
I don't see any. He doesn't have flags displayed either, so it's the one and only section.
The one
I
and
think
only.
that's a good ending point right here.
All right,
I like
then
it.
we're going to call it. Let's call it. Thank you so much for tuning into the Railroad Rock. Right as they're going up Cajon? Are you shitting me?
It feels like the The sound is getting ready to.
The sound is montaging. Hey, remember when we were there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's the tunnel? It's right up ahead.
Yeah, it's around the curve ways.
Remember when we were at that tunnel?
Yeah.
Dude, you still got to get me some.
I know. I gotta find them.
Got to find some pictures, videos, something to show people that I used to be cool and used to be.
I used to be me.
You used to be a yellow bonnet.
Yeah.
Now you're a war bonnet. Look at that. Nice little Dash 8B waiting on him. Will you guys hurry up? Seriously. I like my old guy voice. I'm going to start breaking that out a little bit more. There we were, running up Cajon Pass before they used to put diesels behind us, and I decided to peel an orange. All right, this wasn't any orange. I got it off the old San Joaquin Express. Of course, there was a nice little Mexican lady with an oversized sombrero standing on the side of the tracks, and I got it from her, and she said, "Orale," and next thing I know, I was getting laid. Okay, that's that. I hope you like my story. Some say she wasn't much to look at, but I say she had it where it counts. Her guacamole was spicy like Tapatio from a water faucet in Maine. I tell you what. All right, I hope you had a great time today, and I hope you put up with my shit. Once again, my name is Timmy D. That is
Engineer Evan.
And thank you so much for tuning into the Railroads Rock Show. Do not forget to tune in, like, and subscribe. We'll keep these things going. And I guess we have our Railroads Rock Show shop up and running, and I promised we wouldn't do commercials, so that's not a commercial. I'm just letting you know, maybe go check it out. And if you don't follow us on TikTok, it is. I think on TikTok it's at Railroads Rock Show. Or Railroads Rock. One or the other. Anyways, for Evan Gerdes, Evan G, Engineer Evan, the coolest guy in the...
Something.
I don't even know. I think on this episode, you're just cool guy Evan. Cool guy Evan. Cool John. And I'm old man Timmy D, wearing the onion on my belt as usual. And just remember, your most important signal you get is your next one. We'll see you next time. Highball, everybody.